besiedeln oder vielleicht auch nicht, aber zumindest zum Mars zu fliegen und so weiter und so weiter. Bewusstseinsmäßig, psychologisch sind wir auf dem Stand von Inno stecken geblieben.
Bewusstsein, das ist die Frage. Ne? Da klingelt wieder jemand.
Ja, es nimmt Fahrt auf. Wir haben einen neuen Gast. Wir sind zwar jetzt nicht diverser geworden, aber wir sind mehr geworden.
Quantität statt Qualität.
Ich habe euch schon mal zugehört auf Twitch.
Wir sind nicht diverser geworden,
statt Qualität, sage ich immer.
Nein, ich meine, die Runde ist jetzt nicht diverser geworden, aber sie wurde jetzt gerade erweitert mit einem weiteren Teil.
Sausage Club.
Es ist immer noch eine Sausage-Runde, aber es ist ja auch, ich glaube, bei Twitch ist das, glaube ich, auch eher klassisch. Also
das
auch wenn es die jüngere
Generation
ist.
David.
Die meisten sind ja hier Gamer, aber aber uns macht das ja nichts aus. Also vielleicht werden sich jetzt einige beschweren, hey, einige von den Twitch-Zuschauern, hey, hier sind ja gar keine Frauen dabei. Aber
David, du hast ja nichts gegen homogene Runden. Ne?
Nein, habe ich auch nicht. Ja, also herzlich willkommen, Martin.
Hallo Martin.
Ja, danke schön dafür. Hallo Josef.
Du bist unterwegs.
Hallo Martin. Ja, ich bin gerade unterwegs. Ich dachte, ich steige kurz ein. Ich hatte euch schon im Supermarkt auf dem Ohr die ganze Zeit und so ein bisschen zugehört. Und musste natürlich schmunzeln über den Anfang, aber gut.
Wieso? Was gab's?
Nein, alles gut. Was Matthew gerade gesagt hat.
Du meinst meine Enttäuschung, dass Mihai nicht dabei ist. Oder was meinst du, worüber möchtest du schmunzeln? Ja, ich hätte ihn gerne mal wieder getroffen. Ich scheine ihn ja irgendwie in irgendeiner Art und Weise verkrault zu haben. Ich weiß nicht wieso.
Ja,
ich dachte,
doch, ich weiß
richtig,
wieso.
Das brauchen wir vielleicht nicht erörtern, zumal das in alle Ewigkeit im Internet wahrscheinlich verweilen wird, diese kleine Runde, potenziell zumindest. Aber was gerade gesagt wurde, fand ich spannend. Deswegen habe ich mich jetzt doch schon mal eingewählt. Ich wollte eigentlich später zukommen. Aber Josef, deine Frage war an Matthew, was uns jetzt zum Beispiel dieser digitale Wandel gebracht hat in den letzten 8 Jahren. Ein ganz praktisches Beispiel zum Beispiel, jeder Mann kann sich heute eine Drohne kaufen. Und was das für einen Unterschied macht, zum Beispiel im Krieg in der Ukraine. Jetzt will ich nicht darauf wieder zu sprechen kommen, aber
doch, mach ihn platt.
Aber das
du Militarist, wirklich, nimm mal mit deinem Mamma mia.
Nein, aber zum Beispiel,
ich meine, wir sitzen hier und können miteinander kommunizieren. Das hat uns auch gebracht. Was tatsächlich ein gigantischer Fortschritt ist.
Aber diese 4K-Drohnen, ultra hoch aufgelöst, super stabiles Bild. Jeder kann das mittlerweile von seinem Telefon aus steuern, das Teil, und macht eben auch auf den Schlachtfeldern einen riesen Unterschied im Moment. Und ja, das hätte es vor 8 Jahren natürlich nicht gegeben. Da gab es diese Parrot-Drohnen, glaube ich, die mehr so ein Spielzeug waren für Sporthallen, wo es keinen Wind gab, die auch wirklich eine furchtbare Kameraqualität hat. Auch das ist ein riesen Unterschied, die Kameraqualitäten, die Videos. Schau dir Dokumentation an oder so Fernsehausschnitte von vor 8 Jahren. Wirst dich wundern im Vergleich zu heute, wie schlecht das tatsächlich ist. Man denkt, das war vor 8 Jahren? Aber was bringt uns das? Keine Ahnung.
Nicht viel getan. Ja, aber wirklich die Frage, was bringt das alles? Also, was hat es uns als Menschheit gebracht?
Ja, wir müssen ja nicht immer gleich auf so eine, was hat uns das jetzt als Menschheit gebracht? Wir können jetzt auch erstmal so ein bisschen in die Mikroperspektive da jetzt gehen. Also was hat uns das jetzt im Alltag auch alles gebracht? Wenn man jetzt vergleichen würde zwischen einem Tag im März des Jahres 2014 und einem Tag im März des Jahres 2022, wenn man ein bisschen genau überlegt, dann wird einem einfallen, es gibt Sachen, die sind jetzt so selbstverständlich, wie Martin eben sagte, dass jeder dass jeder mittlerweile eine Drohne hat. Früher hieß es noch Quadrocopter, glaube ich, im deutschsprachigen Raum. Und das allerhöchste der Gefühle war, glaube ich, habe ich mal in so einer Fachzeitschrift gelesen, da konnte man so Feuerwerks verkaufen, wo dann eben bei Explosion ein Foto geschossen wird. Und dann kann man eben sich dieses Foto dann anschauen. Aber das,
ich finde es ganz spannend, weil du erwähnt hast, was ist jetzt der Unterschied rein im privaten Bereich, persönlichen Bereich 2014, 2022? Für mich null.
Das glaube ich nicht. Das glaube ich nicht.
Doch, definitiv. Ich habe 2014 in Ägypten Zeit verbracht. Damals gab es auch schon Skype. Mit den Leuten hier in Deutschland, mit denen ich in Kontakt war ich über Skype vernetzt.
Das gibt's nicht mehr.
Vielleicht war die Videoqualität fast schlechter, aber tatsächlich sind meine Augen so schlecht, dass ich das nicht merke. Und sonst, ich habe keine Drohne. Ich habe auch kein Interesse daran, eine Drohne mir zu holen. Wofür? Was soll ich damit machen? Warum soll ich in der Gegend mit einer Drohne rumfliegen?
Überleg mal auch 2014. Meinst du nicht, dass du heute mehr online kaufst, dass das alles viel reibungsloser über die Bühne geht als damals? Das ist jetzt wirklich nur eine kleine Sache, aber ich denke.
Ganz banal, jein, ja.
Und es gab kein Netflix. Es gab kein Netflix 2014.
Das ist zum Beispiel tatsächlich was anderes, ja. Allerdings habe ich dann den Vorteil, in Ägypten konnte ich alles illegal streamen. War vollkommen irrelevant. Wird halt nicht verfolgt. Also habe ich alles Mögliche
gesehen. Habt ihr noch Napster gehabt, ne? 2014.
Napster, genau.
Ja.
Wie diese ganzen Dinger, oder uTorrent und wie die alle über die ich gestreamt habe. Und
das war auch ein schöner Dienst. Ja.
Die Bildqualität ist bestimmt besser geworden.
Metallica dem Ganzen einen Riegel vorgeschoben haben.
Bildqualität ist tatsächlich besser geworden. Zu deiner Frage online kaufen. Im Grunde genommen bin ich kein großer Fan von Online-Kaufen, aber da ich auch in der Hinsicht persona non grata war, bis vor kurzem, sprich ungeimpft, hatte ich gar keine andere Chance, als online zu kaufen.
Kurze Unterbrechung, Youssef. Die Runde wird noch mal größer. Sie bleibt homogen.
Sie bleibt quantitativ.
Es bleibt hier konservativ. Ne? Das ist halt eben eine reine Männerrunde. Ich begrüße hier an dieser Stelle Jakob alias Icke, herzlich willkommen.
Ich denke, ich habe mich gewundert, Icke. Okay.
Ich denke, er hat ein bisschen mitgehört an dieser Diskussion und kann sicherlich auch gleich dazu.
Jakob aus Berlin oder was?
Ja, genau. Ich bin schon bei dir mitgefahren im Auto.
Ja, ich kenne dich doch. Ich weiß doch. Sicher kenne ich dich. Aber ich habe dein Bild nicht vor Augen, aber jetzt Jakob, ja klar, sicher, ich weiß noch, klar.
Also wir haben noch zusammen, darauf zurückzukommen, für mich hat sich wirklich minimal geändert.
Ja.
Hallöchen.
Du hast zugehört?
Nee, ich bin gerade erst reingekommen. Ich habe nichts gehört von dem, was du gesagt hast, wer sonst irgendwie was gesagt hat. Oder erzählt weiter, sprecht weiter.
Nein, dann hole ich dich jetzt ab. Also Martin hat vorher schon uns zugehört, als er im Supermarkt einkaufen war. Und wir reden jetzt quasi über Europa 2030. Wir sind einmal in die Vergangenheit zurückgegangen, 8 Jahre zurück ins Jahr 2014, eben weil bis 2030 sind es eben auch noch 8 Jahre und wir haben uns erinnert, wie das Leben 2014 damals aussah und einige Sachen, die Matthew genannt hatte, eben Raumfahrt ist so eine Sache, die sich enorm weiterentwickelt hat. Dann jetzt eben in unserem Alltag, es gab 2014 noch kein Netflix. Online-Käufe sind sind auch nochmal angestiegen. Martin hatte gesagt, damals gab es keine Drohne, beziehungsweise die konnte man sich privat das noch nicht kaufen und die Bildqualität war extrem schlecht. Und ja, jetzt kommst du, 2014, 2022 und 2030.
Es gab in Deutschland noch andere Fußballmeister als Bayern München.
Nee, auch nicht. Das war 2011, glaube ich, das letzte Mal. Ja.
Echt, ja? Aber zumindest konnten sich Leute noch dran erinnern damals.
Ja.
Okay. Also im Fußball, glaube ich, ist gar nichts passiert an Entwicklung. Außer, dass irgendwelche Kandidaten vollkommen überbezahlt werden. Aber ich glaube, das wurden sie auch damals schon.
Ja, das immer.
Also du bist ja hier so ein bisschen der Tech-Nerd hier. Was würdest du sagen, hat sich zwischen 2014 und 2022 in deinem Alltag verändert?
In meinem Alltag. Da muss ich jetzt erstmal ganz stark nachdenken.
Scheint nicht viel zu sein.
Scheint nicht viel passiert zu sein.
Naja, die Hauptsache ist, dass halt praktisch das mobile Internet halt viel wichtiger geworden ist. Also wenn man es jetzt halt, sage ich mal, außerhalb jetzt von Firmen sieht, sondern im privaten Bereich. Ich meine, viele Leute haben gar keinen Computer mehr. Das meiste geht über Mobiltelefone, also Smartphones, Tablets, etc. pp. Einfach auch die Nachrichtenübermittlung ist viel schneller alles geworden. Also sprich,
aber nicht in Deutschland, oder?
auch in Deutschland, aber da auch in bestimmten Gegenden, also in Ballungsräumen. Es ist einfach.
Sorry, wenn ich kurz einhake. Was denn persönlich? Du sprichst jetzt generell. Was hat sich wirklich persönlich für dich verändert? Ich hatte tatsächlich gesagt, für mich hat sich gravierend eigentlich gar nichts geändert.
Ne,
marginal, wirklich marginal.
Weil das geht ja Schritt für Schritt. Also im Endeffekt für mich persönlich ist es, ich kann mit meinem Smartphone jetzt alles machen. Ich kriege jetzt, man sieht es ja auch an Nachrichten jetzt, vor allem im Krieg in der Ukraine. Wenn da irgendwas passiert, so 10 Sekunden später hast du gleich irgendwelche Twitter, Instagram, irgendwas hast du irgendwo, du kriegst sofort alles als Informationen rüber. Ich kann mit meinem Handy sofort, wenn ich irgendwas brauche, das sofort bestellen. Es kommt 3 Stunden später an, wenn ich es möchte. Über Amazon. Ich bin total vernetzt mit allem, was ich will. Ich kann mit meinem Handy sofort bezahlen. Ich brauche kein Bargeld mehr. Es ist komplett.
Ja.
Und du nutzt das auch. Also du machst auch.
Ein
guter Punkt.
Also.
Ja, beispielsweise Handyzahlen oder sowas nutze ich in keinster Weise. Jetzt, du hast den Ukraine-Krieg beschrieben, wahrscheinlich kriegst du noch eine Vielzahl an Informationen zusätzlich, aber im Irak-Krieg war das ja auch schon ähnlich, was ja schon ziemlich lange her ist, wesentlich weiter zurückliegend als 8 Jahre, dass du mehr oder minder live miterleben konntest, welche Stadt jetzt gefallen ist, was da ist. Die Journalisten waren halt da mit on board mit den Soldaten beim Vordringen und das wurde ja auch mehr oder minder live gesendet.
Gut, das gab es damals schon, keine Frage. Und klar, noch damals gab es schon Ticker-Nachrichten, aber es ist alles nochmal schneller geworden. Jeder hat mittlerweile, damals 2014 hatte vielleicht noch nicht jeder ein Smartphone, vielleicht so 80%, 90%. Und mittlerweile hat jede Oma ein Smartphone. Das hat sich geändert. Der Punkt, eben mit dem Handy zu bezahlen, ich kann sagen, in Irland, Martin wird es bestätigen, wir zahlen fast immer bargeldlos. Also Es ist ganz selten der Fall, dass mich jemand dann bittet, vielleicht irgendwie bei so einem Festival oder so, mal mit Bargeld zu bezahlen, aber auch selbst da haben die meisten auch schon so eine Maschine dabei. Also man braucht ja auch letztendlich nur noch ein Smartphone, damit man das machen kann. Und da seht ihr letztendlich schon die Entwicklung, wie sie dann vielleicht in 2, 3 Jahren auch sein wird in Deutschland. Also hier ist es schon so, in Skandinavien ist das auch schon so. Und das ist jetzt nur ein Beispiel, was mir jetzt dazu einfällt. Und wenn man jetzt eben 8 Jahre nochmal weiter vorgeht, in den letzten 2 Jahren sind sehr viele Umbrüche passiert. Und jetzt haben wir nochmal einen Krieg in Europa. Ich meine, spannend ist jetzt nicht das richtige Adjektiv, um das zu sagen, aber ich denke, es werden viele Sachen passieren, die wir uns nicht vorstellen können in einer Zeit, die eigentlich absehbar ist. Matthew, was ist dein Beitrag dazu?
Ja, also wir werden ja, was wir ja schon beobachten, ist ein Kräfteringen, ja, ein Machtringen sozusagen. China hat auch in den letzten 8 Jahren auch enorm an Entwicklung zugelegt, auch ihre Position in der Weltherrschaft sozusagen verstärkt, ja. Also da merkt man schon, wir kriegen jetzt viel dynamischere Geschichten, also Auseinandersetzungen jetzt auch. China möchte sich weiter erweitern. Und die demokratischen Werte, die werden so ein bisschen ja, die werden immer mehr verteidigt werden müssen. So, ne? Die Frage ist, wie lange da noch das möglich ist oder so, oder was ist das überhaupt noch oder so, weil wir merken, China schafft es ganz auch ohne demokratische Werte sich sehr rasant und schnell zu entwickeln.
Also China ist auch ein gutes Stichwort, sprich jetzt diesen Social Index, wo jeder Mensch quasi dahingehend bewertet wird, ob er über eine rote Ampel geht, ob er sich krank zur Arbeit meldet.
Ja,
und solche Sachen.
Das ist auch Technologie, ne? Das hat die Technologie ermöglicht. Und China ist da sofort draufgesprungen auf den Technologiepferd. Also das ist so, da sind sie auch völlig Vorreiter fast schon. Ja? Also ich kann mich erinnern, da galt Japan als enorm fortschrittlich, einer der fortschrittlichen Länder, was Technologie angeht. Ich glaube, das ist inzwischen vorbei. Also
Nein,
ich glaube, das kann man nicht mehr sagen. Kannst du dich ja noch erinnern, als man sagt, oh, Japan, da kamen die ganzen Sonys her, da kamen die ganzen Kameras, die ganzen, was kam dann noch her? Fernseher, was auch immer.
Also in unserer Jugend war das so. In unserer Jugend war Japan auf jeden Fall der Vorreiter. Und
ich kann mich erinnern, ich war in Tokio einmal, und da habe ich gedacht, Alter, das ist hier so fortschrittlich, der ganze Laden hier, Shibuya Station, überall Kameras, zack, 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 alles geordnet, alles schnell.
Aber ganz kurz, hake ich ein, Matthew, siehst du das als fortschrittlich? Wirklich überall?
Nein, aber ich sage nur technologisch.
Technologisch fortschrittlich. Technologisch fortschrittlich. Ob es gesellschaftlich fortschrittlich ist,
Automaten, du hast immer alles über Automaten bezahlt, da war keine Person, die noch Geld empfangen hat, sondern es haben Maschinen alles erledigt. Die hatten überall für alles im Haushalt, hatten sie da Geräte für alles Mögliche. Die Toilette hat sich selbst gereinigt. Das war alles so einfach, alles war so irgendwie.
Das ist ein Traum in Japan, oder?
Also es war einfach irgendwie alles so mit Technik versehen, alles, ins Detail. Ja. Und da hatte man immer gedacht, Japan ist das technische Land so.
Ich wollte nur kurz mitteilen, wir werden jetzt tatsächlich diverser. Wir werden diverser. Es kommt noch jemand in die Runde, und zwar Veronika. Wir müssen dann bitte auf Englisch umschwenken.
Ja, so, ja.
Okay, let's wait a bit. Connecting. Hi, Veronica. How are you today? Yes, we can hear you.
But there's no video. Hi, Yusuf.
Yeah, great to have you here. So we are getting diverser because that was a sausage club only, and now thanks to you. We are getting
David,
the atmosphere is changing.
Please stop it. Just make a recap.
Yusuf is not German.
Yes.
Just make a recap.
Correct. Also German.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, I mean,
indeed.
Gender diversity. Now we have more gender diversity.
Yes.
So ethnic diversity is okay, so we have one half Egyptian, one half Mexican, one guy from Mecklenburg-Vorpommern, and one guy from Hamburg, and so you are enriching this group in terms of gender diversity. Thanks for that.
My pleasure.
And
David, please make a recap, please.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so today actually we're not today the topic is different to the previous talks we had. So tonight we are talking about our vision of Europe 2030. Of course, the war in Ukraine is playing a part in that vision, unfortunately. But there are many other aspects that have an impact on the future as well. And so we were just discussing about what has happened in the past 8 years, and we came to the conclusion that many things in our daily life have changed. Online shopping has become more, it's has become quite easier. Everything is quite seamless when you buy online. And as well, Matthew mentions the involvement of well, Elon, or the impact on of Elon Musk, and so this is what we actually talked about. And so what is your take on that? So what I mean, I think it's probably a bit well, hopefully not offensive, but I mean, you're probably very concerned about the war in Ukraine, but I hope, is there anything makes you optimistic at the moment? I mean, for a Europe that is actually that is more unified, and so what's your take on the vision Europe 2030?
Well, if you take your mind off the war, which is definitely difficult at the moment, but you can see that the real focus now is about also energy resources, which are European country. A lot of them are dependent on Russian oil and gas. So I hope that in the future, not only Europe, but many other countries would focus on more like renewable sources of power, to be more self-sufficient energetically, and not to rely just on the natural resources, which are draining our planet. And, there was a lot of talk recently, like I hope that people have become more aware about climate crisis, about global warming. And I hope the focus is going not to stay on the war. I hope it's going to be over soon, so we can come back to that subject, because it's really important what we are doing to our planet. And I hope Europe should show an example to many other countries on how it has to be done. An example, let's say, of Denmark, which is producing more electricity than they could possibly consume, and then they sell in the excess electricity to neighboring countries, where some of the countries in Europe have to buy an excess garbage to recycle, because they don't have any garbage to recycle anymore. Unfortunately, in other countries not so developed, it's still a big problem, the ecology itself. So I hope that's going to be the focus in the next decade, and we can focus on that and improve the renewable resources first of all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. And what was actually like your view on Europe before that crisis? In some aspect, this war has opened the door for many Ukrainians, because now they have the privilege to stay in Europe for at least 3 years. They have the same rights as any other European citizen. Well, even though it's just for a limited time period. So what was your view on Europe before all these things happened?
Well, I cannot say that Ukrainians could not travel. We didn't require visa to travel to Europe and
well,
stay.
to travel, but not to work.
Well, for some countries you can stay to work if you prove that you are good enough, let's say. So they would hire willingly workers where we are lacking, but mostly, of course, not for some important roles. But in Croatia and Poland, we were required, because the local workers, they would go to other countries like Ireland and UK. But
and
like
even
before the conflict,
Germany, in summertime, in agricultural,
as well, I know
a lot of people from Ukraine coming.
Yeah, but agricultural is not like some position, let's say, even in IT company, or it's not the CEO. So yeah, the focus was there. So my focus before all the shit went down, I would say, would be more Euro integration, developing connections with our neighbors, approaching closer to European Union as part of my country, establishing more trade connections with the neighbors and cultural connections as well. I don't know, like all the good things, to be honest. Just I was looking forward to be honest, to see more like united Europe, because now Europe is united together in facing this crisis. But I was hoping that Europe going to be more united even before that, like, despite the crisis, because unfortunately there were some disagreements. Let's say one country is like Britain left European Union and they decided to go their own way. Then there are talks about different countries leaving the EU. So I was really hoping it's not going to happen. So now I see that looks like it's not happening because all the countries are united in the hard times. But generally, I think because I lived in Asia before, and for me, Europe would always be like a safe haven for things, for the values that we maybe take sometimes for granted in our lives, like freedom of speech and being accepted, the tolerance to be accepted no matter where you come from, what is your background, not to be judged as like by where you come from, what's your age, and what's your religion. While in other parts of the world there's still a lot of racism and prejudice
and your
and that
orientation.
Sorry to interrupt
yeah, and
you,
sexual
but
orientation, including
but
sexual
here in
orientation.
Germany, there's also a lot of racism. I have to be honest. I myself, first time faced racism here in the company I'm working for. David knows. Before that, never, and out of the company, nothing. But I know a lot of people who faced a lot of racism here in Germany, especially these people coming from Middle East, coming from Africa, coming from Asia, and whatever. So
but it's
I can't agree. Yeah, of course, in other countries it's worse. In Egypt, the racism is much worse than here in Germany.
Asia, like if you're a white person walking on the street, people would literally point fingers at you, take pictures of you, like you are some exotic animal of some kind. So yeah, there is racism. It's not exterminated completely. It's a long way to go. I don't think it's ever possible, and it's going to be utopia. But Europe is something you can see as close to, let's say, perfection as it may be. And I start to cherish it more as I lived in Asia, where you could see more of better air quality, ecological situation, way more corruption, more racism, more the things sometimes you don't think about, like about freedom of speech, that if you don't like something, you can openly say about it, and it's going to be okay. You don't go to jail for it. While in other countries, it could be definitely a problem. So I think Europe is like a stronghold for some values we all like. I already named all of them. And I was just hoping that Europe will keep holding together and spreading, popularizing this way of thinking, the tolerance, the liberal way of thinking, and encourage more people, go that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I can
Yusuf,
pass
you
the
want
word to some.
No,
I can pass the word to someone else. I think I spoke enough.
I just had different observations during the last years. Of course, now it seems as if Europe is unified in this Ukraine crisis. But before that, there was a lot of nationalism arising here in Europe.
There probably still is nationalism, So the Ukraine crisis cannot vanish this away.
Yeah, it's not on the topic. That's it. It's not on the topic anymore. And we've been talking about it, David. For example, in France, Marine Le Pen would have had good chances to win the next elections. Now,
unfortunately.
Of course, unfortunately. And even in countries which were very liberal and very tolerant, like Denmark, like Holland, like Sweden, a lot of nationalism arrived. So it's not on the topic anymore, but I think it didn't disappear. Now a country is unified on a a continent, let's say Europe is unified on a very strange basis. On the basis of fear and against someone. And this is not a unification. This is just, they got together against now Russia, and that's it. So I don't know. I can't see it as optimistic as you, but good that you see it in an optimistic way.
Well,
and you are absolutely right.
I have nothing left to do except being optimistic. They didn't capture the capitals, didn't capture anything. So, you know, I'm very optimistic.
Neither optimism nor pessimism. Being realistic, I think, is the best way.
Yeah. Well, in so many ways, there will be very disruptive changes in Europe. So politically, but also AI will play a huge role in this development. And yeah, so Martin, so what do you hope will AI bring to us in the next 8 years? So will we be beneficiaries of AI, or will this be more to our disadvantage? And I mean, I'm just talking about working life.
That remains to be seen and explored. I have no ideas on that. AI will certainly have a big impact one way or another. But I was just thinking about the electronic cars, right? There's more and more vehicles that do no longer require a combustion engine, right? Be it cars or motorbikes or even planes, right? And how will that change politics? Because after all, you know, like diesel and petrol, it brings a lot of money to every government around the globe, right? So when that breaks away, what do major players like Saudi Arabia gonna do?
Yeah.
Right, with all the renewables, the solar energy, even the wind turbines, all of it.
I would like to add on that note. I would like to say that electric vehicles still makes up for a really minute amount of cars, right? And will probably continue to be so. We will not replace combustion engines in the foreseeable future, even though we have governments that are really pushing for that. But we have to keep in mind when we talk about energy, right? So we're talking about energy, and that we're probably looking at an energy crisis. We are not going to be able to have everything converted to electricity. And partially, we can also see, just a look at the portfolio of energies that we draw energy from, is such as such as natural gas, such as LPG, such as coal, oil. Coal is probably one of the oldest forms of power that we have, and we're still using it. Coal has never gone down. Even though we've added oil, we've added natural gas, we've added fracking gases, now we're adding renewable gases, we have never been able to replace coal. Coal remains one of the major energy providers there is. And if it, not only here in Europe, but also especially in all these other developing countries, coal is still majorly important, even though we have this climate crisis coming up, and we are really extremely aware of it, and we've been aware of it for really a number of years. It's nothing really new, but nothing has changed the consumption of coal. And coal is a massive...
I agree with you, and I don't think there will be any... Of course, some European countries maybe are advanced in alternative energies and whatever, electricity and solar plants and wind crafts and things like that. But finally, nothing will change within the next decade. Because especially countries like China and in Africa and whatever, they will continue using coal, they will continue using oil, gas, and all this, and nothing much will change. And even what you said, electric vehicles, I bought myself last year a new car because I had to, And I was thinking to buy an electric vehicle, and so I watched some documentaries. The production of an electric vehicle is much more polluting than of a conservative vehicle nowadays, because it needs a lot of copper, it needs a lot of this so-called, I don't know the English word, seltene Erden, seltene Metalle, seltene Erden, someone can translate it.
Matthew, could you translate that?
Rare elements.
Yeah, and there are regions in China which are completely destroyed and polluted just for the production of this batteries and whatever. And of course, in Norway, they have a high amount of electric vehicles, which is also financed by the oil industry. So, okay, they are not using the oil themselves inside the country, they're selling it and playing, okay, we are advanced in alternative energies. So what? Nothing will change. I don't think this goal, what they want to reach, not to go above 1.5 degrees, they will never reach it. Impossible. And the simple thing behind it is just because everything is money driven. If it wouldn't have been money driven, I think there could be changes, but it's all money driven, so nothing.
Don't you believe in green capitalism?
I don't know what you mean by green capitalism. And first point, I don't believe in anything. Yeah, I don't understand what is green. What is green capitalism? What is this?
Well, it's roughly means that capitalism is able to change the impact on our lives by setting new standards, for setting new environmental standards, you know, so that actually due to the competition that we invest more into alternative resources and energies and so on. So this is what I understand under green capitalism. So that actually capitalism is the right social format in order to make these necessary changes happen.
But yeah, it might be, yeah, but it won't happen. If you look at it, it's very interesting.
But I say because, well, you said it's money driven, so therefore you don't believe that there will be a significant change on the way we consume and we live worldwide. You know, and some tiny countries as Norway, Luxembourg, or Germany, well, if you consider Germany a small country, but I mean, size-wise, globally seen it is. So you know, Africa, China, these are the parts of the world that will probably not be able to do such significant change. Maybe China can do, but the question is if they really will, and if they actually if they aim to do these changes, you know.
If they are willing, yeah, and you said a good example, Africa as well. I don't think that they are willing over there, because for the moment it's with high costs, it's connected with high costs, and of course they want to participate in a higher standard, in a higher living standard, which is understandable. If you look at it just through history, all the European countries, later on the United States, they were during the Industrial Revolution, they made the biggest part of the pollution of the planet. And now these so-called third world countries trying also to develop, and the easiest way and the cheapest way is with the conservative energy, and that's what they're doing. And they're not investing in alternative energies because at the moment it's quite expensive.
Yeah,
it's even ununderstandable. For example, North Africa, they could, with solar plants, they could provide all the electricity which is necessary, but instead of it, Egypt is going to build a nuclear plant.
Yeah. So, Jakob,
it's ridiculous.
Jakob, do you see the things as pessimistic as Yusuf?
I don't see pessimistic. No, I have to correct you. I see it realistic.
Okay. No, I strongly disagree.
It's not pessimistic. Nothing to do with pessimism.
No, I strongly disagree. I see there. I agree with the point that we won't reach the 1.5 degree level, so that the Earth is going hotter and hotter. But I think there are loads of different sources, energy sources. There is what you can say. Most people say, okay, maybe green hydrogen. I assume it's called in English. There's solar. There are new solar panels. There's water, something. There are loads of different sources to create energy. There's not just coal. So there are projects all over the world. There's not just Europe. In Africa, they're planting now. Now it's called the Green Band. So it's one of the biggest new natural. How do I say it? Das ist zusammenhängendes Naturschutzgebiet. Is this in German? How is it in German? So it's a big forest from the eastern coast of Africa to the western coast of Africa, and as well. So it's not just that all the world has to start with new energy resources together. There are countries they have to start. And so there's always one country or another country what starts with new technology, and afterwards other countries implement it as well. And
yes, and then you have a country like Brazil that tears down their rainforests, right? And then you have all the efforts that Europe makes or does, right, is killed or vanished by an idiot in Brazil.
Yeah, but maybe in 5 years, 10 years, they changed completely their way. So you have to consider that, and you have to hope that they will do, and therefore you have to work on that. As Veronica said, now as you see, Germany, for example, in the last 14 years, they gave up all the energy. So they didn't work for local energy creation itself, because we are completely dependent on Russia, and now we see what happens. So and not just Germany, other countries as well. So it's not a process what you can change one day to another, but now the process is going on to everyone wants to be independent from such energy sources like oil, coal, or whatever. So, and it's.
I have a question into the round. Maybe for some people heard of it. I saw a documentary on a German channel. It's called Art. In this documentary, they said, even if we, and not only Europe and whatever, even if whole humanity, the whole planet, stops immediately all kind of old energies and changes to alternative energies, nothing much will change. We won't reach the goal. We went over a point. We already went over a point. So finally, we will go over this 1.5 degree point. Whatever we do, even if the whole planet will change. I don't know if it's true. It's a documentary. I would say it's a very reliable channel. It's not a conspiracy theory channel. So
it's not RTE.
Pardon?
It's not RTE. Your favorite channel.
Which is
it's
my
favorite?
RTE.
I don't know it. What is this? RTE?
Russian television broadcast.
Okay. No, not my favorite channel. Yeah. No, it's a German-French corporation. Arte.
Okay.
Arte.
Yeah. Okay. You were talking about Russia Today. Russia Today, I was watching a lot in Egypt.
Yeah, I can see the impact on it. Yeah.
It's 8 years ago.
Putin's propaganda work.
Yeah, now you know from where it comes.
I mean, to be clear, we're all gonna die one day. Is 100% mortality on Earth.
That's very realistic.
But just to give.
Well, there might be one thing. we might still be alive as, virtually.
Okay.
So we might have an avatar of ourselves, a digital avatar.
Oh my God.
So this can actually prolong life.
Yeah, there are also like several things that you could like reverse the how to call it, your stem cells, that it prevents them from getting old, and instead they're rejuvenating. But even if there is no more comeback, and we cannot save our planet, there is a mission on Mars, and
our planet, Veronica, I'm 100% sure our planet won't die. Whatever we do,
humanity will, but not this planet.
Maybe humanity will have worse possibilities to live, but the planet won't die. There have been phases on this planet which much hotter climate, whatever. Other species will appear. Many species will disappear. The planet itself will survive. This is absolute bullshit that they are talking that the planet will die. The planet will not die. It will maybe die in 4 billion years when our sun starts vanishing. But at the moment, whatever we do, planet won't die.
Whatever you say, my point,
positive news.
Yeah, whatever you say, my point was, even if it's gonna die, it's like doesn't mean that we have to give up. And every day we are making, like humanity, not me personally, but there are many new inventions coming up. So there's still chance that there is some turning point. I have a positive approach, I guess. So I still believe that everything's going to be all right. Good gonna beat the bad, and
Yeah, but as I said, hopefully we can all live on in a computer game,
at least.
or at least our avatars. So maybe we can make a our avatars of this.
A question. Yeah. This would be an interesting vision for your future. Would you participate if it would be possible? Let's say in 5 years or in 10 years or whatever. Would you participate in such a kind of program?
Yeah, I would.
Really? Of course. Have you played Sims?
For me, idiotic. No, I have a life period.
Why wouldn't I?
Why to prolong this life period? Either I reach in my life period some kind of consciousness, or I don't reach. Just to prolong this stupidity, no.
Why no stupidity? I mean, I feel like there's one life is not enough to do all the things one person could possibly do. For itself, for herself, for himself, or for the other people, or for the planet, or for the society. One life is not enough. So
enough.
If I had a chance to prolong,
absolutely more than enough.
No, I would like to learn like 100 languages. I'm sorry, I don't have time for Spanish.
What for?
Because I love it. Because I want to speak to different people in their language, and one life is not enough.
So it would be better if our planet, all people would speak the same language. Why learning 100 languages?
I like different languages. It's just a personal thing. I mean, like, if there is a way
if it's
to
your joy, why not? But to prolong my life just to speak 100 languages, what for?
No, not only.
Said, don't be so negative.
It's not about prolonging life.
It's about to make more.
It's about saying farewell to your biomatter that is the only thing that limits your time on Earth, is your outer shell. How you may develop a cancer tomorrow and your body says bye-bye, that's it, I'm signing out, but still your mind could be saved. It could be saved from that biomass and
to share experience maybe with next generations.
What happens in 100 years.
So Martin, just go a bit deeper into the detail. What is your mind?
My mind is whatever. Well, I don't know. I don't have
I think it's a base of knowledge and experiences.
It's whatever I experience.
Right. Your mind is
my mind.
Just a biocomputer, nothing else. And this biocomputer was fed since you were born. It was fed with all the bullshit around you. So why to save such a bullshit? Honestly, your mind, idiotic, absolutely idiotic.
No, why? Why are you so negative, Yusuf?
My mind is what I use to experience a book, a requiem, maybe a nice piece of music, to indulge in emotions or stuff like that. That's what my mind does. My body
pumps blood through
No,
my veins.
you're wrong. That's not what your mind does. Emotions
come
have nothing to do with
on.
your mind. Sorry.
and saturates my cells with oxygen. But once that ceases, my brain will stop functioning and my mind will die with it. So why not, unpair these two things if there is a possibility to do so? Take your mind, upload it, put it in a digital form, upload it somewhere that you can maybe in 200 years experience what people are thinking about Europe 200 years ago, which is where we live now.
Horrible
it's
vision,
amazing,
honestly.
I think. Okay, imagine the situation. You meet a person in a bar, you have a pint together, and you share a story where you've been, what you've done. You just tell your experience, and the person talks to you. I would like give a lot for opportunity to go back in time and talk to someone who lived in ancient Egypt, in Roman Empire, to see their way of thinking, to see their perception of life, their values. It's just interesting. It's not stupid. It's really interesting. That's actually my dream. I believe if I die and I will behave well in this life, let's say my mind does not die and I can travel anywhere I want in the past or in the future and see how people live, just like in the video game, So it's really fascinating.
Just for my understanding, Veronica, this is a vision of yours, or this is your belief system, or what is this?
It's like a dream, it's not like any religion or whatsoever. I was like, okay, if I die and there is something in afterlife, this is what I would like it to be.
Okay, it's just some kind of dreaming or wishes.
It is.
Okay. No, for me, there's no reason. Our mind is a good tool which we can use. This tool, it's a kind of biocomputer, nothing more, nothing less, which is fed by our surrounding, our culture, our parents, our teachers, our religion, our whatever. This is what our mind is fed. Maybe you can make something out of it. Okay, good. Maybe not. But why to keep it? Better replace it with something new.
I think you cannot neglect.
You have 70, 80 years. It's enough. Either you reach to a point or you don't reach.
Why would it be? Because your body shuts down.
Yeah, because the body. It's a connection, body, mind,
but your mind
emotions.
not necessarily does. So
what for? Why to survive a biocomputer? And then you have something fourth. This is your consciousness. And your consciousness is, in my opinion, in my experience, something completely different. And I'm convinced if you somehow develop your consciousness, it will survive anyway. So no difference.
I'm not sure if I follow you. So what survives anyway? Sorry.
Pardon?
I'm not sure if I follow you. You said your conscience will survive anyway.
Consciousness. Your
it's
something different. Consciousness, conscious of yourself. That's something different. It has nothing to do with the mind. It has nothing to do with the emotions. It has nothing to do with the body.
What's conscience?
This is mind,
Do
body.
You mean the soul?
No, I don't mean the soul. I don't know anything about soul. If there is a soul, if there's no soul, no idea. I don't know. It's just the soul is just the word, a concept by religions. So I have no idea if there's something like the consciousness, like the soul. Consciousness is something.
Consciousness that you're aware, as in the sense of you're aware of yourself.
It's you can say it is the simplest way to express is
self-awareness.
Self-awareness, yeah.
And
self-awareness can grow, and that's something, in my opinion, maybe it goes now in a wrong direction. In my opinion, that's something which humanity never developed. We developed technologically, like you all said. I'm far behind, maybe because I'm the oldest and I'm old-fashioned, whatever. But technological, we are so far ahead. Veronica, like you said, maybe it's possible even in the next 10 years that we are able to build a new population on Mars and whatever. But if you look at it from a different point, our consciousness never developed. If our consciousness would have developed, there would not be any war anymore on this planet. We are, from our consciousness side, we are still in the Stone Age. No difference. In the Stone Age, they didn't have nuclear weapons. They had only arrows and whatever to kill each other. Now we are more advanced in killing each other. But from this point, nothing evolved in humanity. Humanity is still at the same stage like 50, 100,000 years ago, whatever, when humanity came on the planet. So there is no difference.
There had been episodes.
Pardon?
Maybe there had been episodes where we had been more progressed in our minds as we are nowadays, or maybe we have to look more on detail on different parts of the world.
Give me an example of any episode.
Well, Roman Empire, the ancient Greeks. I don't know. It's.
But what did Roman Empire do? They were fighting for I don't know how many years. Nero, Caesar, all these guys. What they were conquering. They were conquering the Germanians, whatever. They were fighting all the time. What did the Greeks do? What did the ancient Egyptians, which are very admired? Of course, they also made amazing things like the pyramids. But on the other hand, if you could look at the hieroglyphs and all these paintings, 90% of all these paintings are war scenes. They were fighting, invading Nubia, invading today Syria.
Well, and they wouldn't have been able to build the pyramids without slaves. This is another fact.
Okay, yeah, might be. They needed slaves from Nubia to build the pyramids. Okay, but yeah, my point is consciousness didn't change. And why? Of course, you can have, you can imagine a mind like, a mind like the mind of Albert Einstein, who was far ahead to his time with all his theories and whatever.
But
great. Okay, sorry, question.
Yeah, Veronica, go ahead.
If the consciousness didn't change, so where all these inventions coming from? If nothing new.
Mind, from the mind. It's just the mind. It's our mind. We are developing our mind, and we are developing it in a good way. Like I said, Albert Einstein, he had a very far developed mind. His theories, relativity theory, his theory about all these things which proved much later. He was 100 years ahead of his time.
But one thing about Albert Einstein is what we don't know is that he was actually not state of the art in his own bubble, in his own field. So the